Electromagnetic fields, vector calculus, third part, series on electromagnetic field theory, lecture number 0.13. In the study of electromagnetics, we come across surface integrals, that is double integrals, volume integrals, that is triple integrals, along with line integrals also. There is a connection among these three types of integrals. The connection is provided by three fundamental theorems of vector calculus. In the present session, our focus is on expressions for differential length, differential area, differential volume in the three coordinate systems we use frequently in electromagnetics, that is Cartesian, cylindrical and spherical systems. In addition, we also examine fundamental theorems of vector calculus and notice their important features. Now, let us go further. In integral calculus, volume, surface, paths, these are mathematical entities. They have very clear definitions. Volume by definition is a region. Region means space, part space, always surrounded by a closed surface. So volume, closed surface. These two are inseparable. Surface, once again by definition, is an entity always surrounded by a closed path. So surface is always associated with closed path. Of course, closed surfaces, they don't have any closed paths. Open surfaces, they have closed paths associated with closed paths. The path by definition is a curve with the direction. Usually the terms paths and curves are used to mean the same. Volumes, differential volumes, these are scalar quantities, whereas surfaces, differential surfaces, these are vector quantities similar to paths and differential lengths. So volumes, only volumes or differential volumes are scalar, whereas remaining are differential surfaces, differential lengths, these are vectors. Direction of path is tangential. Let us suppose there is a path something like this. Direction we have to indicate, then only it is a path, otherwise it is simply curve. Now it is a path. What is direction of this path? When this question is there, this question can be answered only when you specify where you want the direction. Where is the location? Where is the point where you want to have, where you want to know the direction? Let us suppose at this point you are asked to find out the direction. Then what you have to do is draw a tangential. There are two ways one can draw tangent to this point. One way is in this direction, another way is in the opposite direction. But you have to draw tangent indicating or towards the direction of the curve. So you have to draw tangent like this one. So this is the direction. Direction of path is tangential to the path and indicated by an arrow. For a straight line path, direction remains same all along its length, and for curved line paths, direction naturally varies from point to point. If this is straight path, direction is same always. But if you consider a curved path like this, it is having one direction here like this, another at this point, another direction here, some other direction. That's what he's telling. Two types of paths are encountered in electromagnetics. One is open path, another is closed path. In case of open paths, this is open path. Starting point, ending point, these two are different. If somehow you manage to connect ending point with the starting point, then this path becomes closed path. Direction of surface by definition is normal to the surface. See, let us suppose here is a closed path. With this closed path as boundary, imagine some surface like this. Here is some surface. Because for a path, direction is tangential. When it comes to surface, direction is normal. So here, direction may be like this. Here, direction may be like this. So normal. If the surface is a flat one, direction remains same at all points over its surface. For curved surfaces, naturally direction varies from point to point. As shown, here direction is like this. Here direction is different from the direction of earlier point. Direction at the earlier point. At an arbitrary point over the surface, direction can be found by wrapping the point with right hand fingers in the direction of the enclosing curve. Direction pointed by the thumb, then giving direction of the surface at the point. So here is some surface. Let us suppose it is enclosed by some path. This is the surface enclosed path is like this. Now you want direction at this point over the surface. Then what you have to do is you encircle this point with a curve like this. Give a direction. What direction you have to give? Whatever the boundary path direction, whatever the direction the boundary path is having, same direction you give, like you have to give. Now use your right hand and wrap the point with the right hand fingers in the direction of the enclosing curve. Direction pointed by the thumb gives you direction of the surface at that point. Here path, curve, this is path because direction is given. Here 2 points are shown, and these 2 points, what are the directions? At 2 this is direction, at 1 this is the direction. Notice the directions change when the direction of the curve changes. Here the direction is upwards, here direction is downwards, therefore tangents are also you have to consider in a downward way. Here is a surface, boundary path is this one. It is given a direction. This is boundary path, enclosing path. This is curved surface. At point 1, normal is like this, upwards. At point 2, normal is sideways. So it is, first thing is, as far as surface is concerned, it is the direction is normal to the surface. For line tangential, for a path, it is tangential. As far as surface is concerned, it is normal. And notice, here direction is anti-clockwise. Here in E, direction is anti-clockwise. Therefore, normal now is downwards. At point 1, normal is downwards. At point 2, normal is again downwards. Here in D, they are upwards or above, whereas here they are below. We considered here a volume. This volume is surrounded by a closed surface. This closed surface, this is closed surface. Volumes are scalar quantities, but surface which encloses the volume, it is a vector quantity. Differential length is a vector joining 2 points whose coordinates differ by differential amount. As already mentioned, in electromagnetics we come across line integrals, surface integrals, volume integrals. Line integral means integral some vector quantity and differential length. Integration over some path involves when it comes to line integrals. So DL is there. What is this DL? DL is called differential length. So line integrals involve differential length, surface integrals involve differential areas, volume integrals involve differential volume. What is this differential length in Cartesian? In cylindrical. In spherical. What is differential area in Cartesian? Cylindrical. Spherical. What is differential volume in the 3 coordinates? Before that, what is actually or exactly or by definition, what is differential length? A definition is given. Differential length is a vector joining 2 points whose coordinates differ by differential amounts. Consider, see, let us say we are in Cartesian. Consider 2 points. First point 1, second point 2. Let us suppose one coordinates are x, y, z. Second point coordinates are x plus dx, y plus dy, z plus dz. Now the vector joining 1 to 2. This vector is differential length. By definition, this is differential length in Cartesian system. In a cylindrical system, let us suppose coordinates of point 1 are rho phi z. Let us say rho phi z. Coordinates of point 2 are rho plus d rho, phi plus d phi, z plus dz. Then the vector joining 1 to 2 is differential length in cylindrical. Similarly, spherical. Differential area is surface of a parallelepiped formed around differential length as diagonal. Once differential length is defined, this differential length as diagonal, one can imagine a parallelepiped like this. A parallelepiped with differential length as diagonal. Differential length as diagonal. Now this parallelepiped has 6 faces and it is enclosing certain volume. This 6 faces of this parallelepiped is differential area by definition. 6 faces gives rise to 6 components. These are components of the differential area. Differential area is a vector. It may have components. It can have components. They give 6 components. In Cartesian system, one component is in plus x direction, another component in minus x direction, one in plus y direction, another in minus y direction, one in plus z direction, another in minus z direction, like that. Differential area is surface of a parallelepiped. A parallelepiped is formed. It has surface. This surface consists of 6 faces. The areas of these 6 faces is the differential area in surface integral. Differential volume is the volume of the parallelepiped. Volume is constant, it is vector scalar quantity. Now differential elements. Differential elements means differential length, differential area, differential volume. What are the general expressions for them in Cartesian system? Then we go to cylindrical system, then we go to spherical. Differential length in Cartesian system is dl. Symbol is dl. L is bold here because differential length is a vector quantity. It has in general three components: dx x cap, dy y cap, dz z cap. When it comes to differential area, it has six components. Already seen, parallelepiped has six faces. One face is in plus x direction, another is in minus x, one is in plus y direction, another is in minus y direction, one face is in z direction, another in minus z direction. So dAx gives you the component of differential area which is in x direction. In x direction there are two components. One is in plus x direction, another is in negative x direction. So two components. In y direction also two components are there, or two faces are there, therefore plus minus. In z direction two faces are there, they are in plus minus. So it has in total 6, 2 in the direction of each coordinate axis. Now differential volume is dx dy dz. Note here, when it comes to differential volume, this is product of components dx dy dz of differential length. If you multiply the three components in x direction, y direction, z direction of dl, then you are getting dx dy dz. So this algorithm, this process is same in other coordinate systems also. Now x component of differential area. How we got x component? By simply multiplying y and z components of dl. How we got y component? You see here dz dx, which are z and x components. How we got z component of area? By multiplying x and y component. So these steps, this sequence or this procedure is common among all the coordinate systems. Now come to cylindrical system. Differential length. Expression for differential length is this: d rho rho cap, rho d phi phi cap, dz z cap. What is this differential length? As I already told, mathematical definition is it is a vector joining two points whose coordinates differ by differential amounts. Okay, but one can give a physical meaning. What is that? We have 2 points. Okay, 1 and 2. One is x, y, z. Another is rho phi z. Here we are in cylindrical system. Therefore, rho phi z. Another is rho plus d rho phi plus d phi z plus dz. Okay. Now to move point 1 to point 2, how much distance you have to travel along rho direction? How much distance you have to travel along phi direction? How much distance you have to travel along z direction? These three distances are components of differential length. So in rho direction you have to travel d rho. In phi direction you have to travel rho d phi. In z direction you have to travel dz. This as diagonal, one can form a parallelepiped. Of course, again 6 faces, 2 faces in rho direction, 2 faces in phi direction, 2 faces in z direction. They are shown here plus minus plus minus plus minus, as was done in case of as is there in case of Cartesian system. dA rho, it is the rho component of the differential area. Rho d phi dz. How this thing has come into being? For that, what you have to do is phi component and z component. These two, you multiply these two, rho d phi dz. You multiply, you will be getting this because rho component. Phi component. How one can get phi component? To multiply rho component and z component of differential length, you will be getting phi component. Similarly, daz. Differential volume is rho d phi dz. Of course, if you multiply all the three components of the differential length, you will be getting. Now spherical system. Differential length is dl is dr r cap, r d theta cap, r sin theta, d phi cap. This is the expression for differential length. Differential area. One can form parallelepiped resulting in 6 faces. 2 faces in r direction, 2 faces in theta direction, 2 faces in phi direction. R direction faces, one in positive r, another in negative r, like that, so on and so forth. So these are radial component, theta component, phi component. This is the expression for volume. Now we consider theorems. Fundamental or gradient theorem of calculus, divergence Gauss theorem, curl Stokes theorem. 3 theorems are there which we use frequently in electromagnetics. These 3 theorems we consider. One theorem involves gradient, another theorem involves divergence, third theorem involves curl. So it is called curl theorem or Stokes theorem. The theorem involving divergence is called divergence theorem or Gauss theorem. The theorem which involves gradient of a scalar function, that theorem is called gradient theorem or fundamental theorem of calculus. What are they? First, consider gradient theorem. It involves gradient. You can see here, gradient is grad f. F is a scalar function. Grad f is gradient of function f. Statement: the integral of tangential component of gradient of a scalar function along a path from a to b is difference of the function values at b and a. F b, f a. Mathematically, integral a to b grad f dot dl is equal to f b minus f a. It connects line integral with the values of functions at a point. So what does it mean? See, physical meaning is quite important because we are dealing with mathematics in electromagnetics with meaning, underlying with an underlying meaning. It says, let us suppose there is a path like this, a function is also there. Now consider 2 points A and B. A and B, it's a path. If you perform integration grad f dot dl a to b, the value of this integral depends upon fb and fa are functions value at a and function value at b. It means a function can have value, any value in between. Here it may have any value, here it may have any value, here it may have any value. Okay, this is one thing. Second thing is, suppose you have done integration over this path like this. You have done integration or this, or you have done performed integration over another path like this, or you have performed integration like this, or you have performed integration over another path. Whatever may be the path, as long as the endpoints remain same, this integral results one value. The value depends only on endpoints, limits on the integral. So value is independent of integration path. That is the aspect we have to understand from this particular theorem. Divergence theorem. It states, see, it involves divergence. Divergence of f d tau is there left hand side. The integral of normal component of a vector or flux over a closed surface S is equal to integral of divergence of same vector throughout the volume enclosed by the surface. Mathematically, integral divergence f d tau is closed surface integral f dot dA. Here a statement is given. It connects volume integral. Left hand side d tau is there. Right hand side is surface. Closed surface is there. So volume integration, surface integration. This integral connects volume integral with a surface, closed surface integral. Says del dot f d tau is closed surface integral f dot dA. Curl theorem. Here this theorem involves curl f dot dA equal to closed line integral dot dA. See, one can see left hand side you have surface, right hand side you have line integral. The integral of tangential component of a vector circulation around a closed path C is equal to, is talking about this one, equal to normal component of curl of same vector through any surfaces enclosed by the path C. Mathematically, integral curl f dot dA equal to closed line integral f dot dl. It connects surface integral. Left hand side you have surface integral, right hand side you have closed line integral. As already mentioned, not once, several times, volumes are always associated with closed surfaces. Open surfaces are always associated with closed line integrals. So the connection between volume integral and closed surface integral or open surface integral and closed line integral, that is obvious. This is what I want to share with you in the present session. Before closing, let us recap certain expressions for dl, dA, differential length, differential area, d tau, differential volume in 3 different coordinate systems, which we use frequently in electromagnetics. They are introduced. They are going to be useful, highly useful in solving various problems in the coming days once we enter into electromagnetics, and then we move on to theorems, vector calculus theorems. This is for now what I have to share with you. Enough for today.